let's talk about the N word. Yes, nuclear weapons. Because time and again, Pakistani leaders have brandished the threat of nuclear warfare like a political slogan. Only in this week, first the defense minister claimed that Pakistan would use nukes if their existence was at risk.
This is an option only in the case our existence is very precarious situation and there is a direct threat to our existence.
Then Hanif Abbasi turned up the heat, boldly declaring, and I quote, "Our nukes aren't just for show, they are meant only for India."
ये जो गोरी, शहीन, गजनवी, ये चौकों में सजाने के लिए नहीं हमने रखे हुए, ये हमने हिंदुस्तान के लिए रखे हैं।
Well, that's not just talk, that's a full-blown provocation, and it comes right after the heart-wrenching terror attack in Pahalgam, where 26 innocent tourists were brutally massacred. TRF, Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba proxy, proudly claimed responsibility for the attack before suspiciously taking it back. India was outraged. The nation mourned. The government acted. India's water treaty was suspended and several other diplomatic actions were taken. Pakistan responded with its own rhetoric, and then came the nuclear saber-rattling. So how real is the nuclear tension? And how dangerous could a conflict become if it spirals out of control? Let's begin with the numbers first. According to the Federation of American Scientists, as of January 2025, India holds around 180 nuclear warheads, while Pakistan has approximately 170. Globally, 9 countries collectively possess over 12,000 nuclear warheads. However, these numbers are just estimates. Most nuclear-armed states keep their stockpiles classified, which makes complete accuracy difficult. Even though the arsenals are similar in size, the policies guiding their use differ in India and Pakistan. India follows a declared no first use doctrine, meaning that it will never initiate a nuclear strike but will retaliate massively if attacked. However, this policy isn't absolute. India reserves the right to respond with nuclear weapons in case of chemical or biological attacks. Now understand, there have been public debates since 2019 about reviewing the NFU stance, suggesting strategic flexibility. Pakistan, on the other hand, does not have a no first use policy. Its strategy is based on full spectrum deterrence, which means it could use nuclear weapons if India crosses its border, attacks its military, imposes an economic blockade, or destabilizes its internal politics. This flexible posture includes the use of tactical nuclear weapons. These are small battlefield nukes that can be deployed quickly, potentially lowering the threshold for nuclear war and making escalation far more likely. But what if, despite all this posturing, the worst happened? Well, according to a study by researchers from the University of Colorado Boulder and Rutgers University, a nuclear war between India and Pakistan would be catastrophic, not just for South Asia but for the entire world. In the first few days alone, over 250 warheads could be launched on each other's major cities, killing at least 700,000 people instantly. The resulting fires and explosions would release around 80 billion pounds of black smoke into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and disrupting global climate systems. Temperatures would fall globally to levels not seen before since Ice Age. Crops would fail, famine would spread, and millions more could die, even in countries not directly involved in the war. The estimated death toll ranges from 50 to 125 million people, a figure even higher than World War II. In the face of such devastation, India has remained composed. Its leadership, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has condemned the Pahalgam attack in the strongest terms and vowed to bring the perpetrators to justice. However, it has done so within the bounds of international law and diplomacy. While Pakistan screams nuclear threats, India is not looking for war. It's seeking justice. Obviously, India's larger military will give it a conventional edge, but a nuclear war would leave no winners. The global community has taken note. The UN has called for restraint, and countries like the US, the UK and France have urged both sides to avoid escalation. Travel advisories have been issued, while Iran and Saudi Arabia have offered to mediate. Even then, Islamabad's inflammatory rhetoric continues, overshadowing the need for de-escalation. What's truly dangerous isn't the size of arsenals. It's the irresponsible talk about using them. Loose nuclear threats by Pakistani leaders are not just reckless. They are provocative, destabilizing, and globally condemned.